You ever get that feeling that something's just off? Like the world isn't quite running right? Well, if you felt that, you are definitely not alone. And we're going to dive into why that might be. It's this nagging sense that reality is just a little bit misaligned, you know? Time feels like it's speeding up, people seem a little colder, more distant. It's this weird, unspoken thing that a lot of us are feeling. And look, it's not just some vague feeling in the air. The source material for this actually points to some really specific symptoms. Time feeling like it's compressing, social connections just kind of fraying at the edges. And this big one, the feeling that the world is just on autopilot, like there's no one at the wheel. So that leads to the big question, right? What if this off feeling isn't just a random bug in the system? What if it's a feature? What if it's engineered? Okay, this is where things get really interesting. To even start to unpack what might be happening to us now, we've got to go back in time, all the way back to the 1970s, to a scientific experiment that honestly sounds more like a sci-fi horror movie. It was called Universe 25, and the idea was pretty simple but profound. A behavioral scientist, John B. Calhoun, built this perfect little world for mice. A paradise, really. He just wanted to see what happens when a society has absolutely everything it could ever want or need, physically speaking. And I mean, this was a legit utopia. The mice had unlimited food, unlimited water, no predators to worry about. The temperature was always perfect, plenty of space to build their nests. Seriously, every single physical need was taken care of. It was, for all intents and purposes, a perfect world. So at first, yeah, everything went great. The population exploded just like you'd think. But then something went terribly, terribly wrong. The whole mouse society just started to fall apart. Violence shut up. Mothers started neglecting their babies. And then this really weird group showed up that Calhoun called the beautiful ones. These were mice that were perfectly healthy, well-groomed, but they did nothing. They just ate, slept, and groomed themselves. They wouldn't meet, they wouldn't interact, they just checked out. And the final stage? Total collapse. Reproduction just ground to a halt, and the entire population died out. And here's the kicker, the paradox at the heart of it all. The whole civilization didn't die because of hunger or disease or predators. They went extinct because of abundance. The very last mouse died all alone, surrounded by untouched food and clean water. Everything it could ever want. Okay, so what in the world does a terrifying mouse experiment from 50 years ago have to do with us today? Well, this is where the source material really connects the dots, and it introduces this idea of what it calls engineered reality. Now, listen to this definition carefully, because it's a little different from what you might think. It's not about making up fake events or just lying. It's about taking true information, real stuff that's happening, and wrapping it in a very specific emotional frame. The goal isn't to trick you into believing a lie, it's to make your thoughts and your behaviors totally predictable in response to the truth. This is a really, really important distinction. A lot of us hear manipulation and we think fake news, right? Like everything is staged. But this idea is way more subtle. The events, the problems, the suffering, that's all real. The control comes from the narrative, the story you're fed about why it's all happening and what you're supposed to do about it. Yeah, this quote really nails it. The events are real, the story behind them almost never is. Think about it. You see some terrible event on the news. The event itself, it happened, it's real. But the story you're told about it, the context, the reason you're given to feel angry or scared or hopeless, that's the engineered part. So we're not talking about some sci-fi mind control beam here. It's way more of a slow burn. It's a gradual rewrite of reality, happening right out in the open. And you can see why it's a tough pill for people to swallow, right? Because admitting you might be influenced by this stuff, well, that means admitting you're not 100% in control of your own thoughts, and nobody wants to feel that. Okay, so if this whole thing is happening, how do you even begin to see it? Well, the source material gives us some pretty clear fingerprints to look for, patterns that pop up when one of these coordinated narratives is being pushed. And once you start looking, you see them everywhere. Suddenly, you've got matching talking points across every single media outlet. You've got celebrity influencers who have never said a word about a topic suddenly becoming these passionate experts overnight. You've got the outrage of the week that everyone's supposed to be furious about, which is then replaced by the fear of the week. And then maybe the weirdest one, You see thousands of total strangers online all using the exact same, very specific, kind of weird phrases. It's like they all got the same memo. And it all boils down to one simple, powerful principle. When you control the emotion, you control the behavior. It's that simple. If they can make you feel a certain way, they can pretty much predict how you're going to act. Emotion is the key. All right, let's do a little exercise right now. Pick any big headline you've seen recently. Just grab one in your head. Now, for a second, don't worry about whether the story is true or false. Just ask yourself this one question. What is this story training me to feel? Is it fear, anger, maybe hopelessness? Is it trying to make me feel loyal to my team? Okay, so that's the program. That's the trap. The big question is, how do you get out of it? The good news is, the source doesn't just leave us with the problem. It lays out a potential escape plan. And it's all about reclaiming your own reality. And it starts with a pretty stark choice. It's a binary. Program or be programmed. You're either the one actively writing the code for your own mind, or someone else is writing it for you. There's no in-between. You can't just be a neutral observer in this game. So here's the 3-step process to start breaking the pattern. Number 1, analyze the emotion. Just like we did a minute ago. Ask, what are they trying to make me feel? Number 2, question who benefits. This is the big one. Ask yourself, who profits from me feeling and acting this way? And number 3, start actively training your attention. This is the real work. Because that's the real escape hatch here. It's not about finding some secret, unbiased source of information. That's a wild goose chase. The real freedom comes from developing the mental muscle to control what you allow into your mind in the first place. Your attention, that's the final frontier. And this brings us right back around, full circle, to those poor mice in Universe 25. Because maybe the most dangerous place to live isn't some brutal dictatorship. Maybe it's a world where everything is comfortable, everything is easy, everything is stimulating, and nobody has any idea why they feel so empty inside. Which leads me to one last pretty provocative thought, a final question that kind of ties all of this together, the past, the present, and where we're headed. With all this new technology, especially AI, promising us a future of incredible abundance, a world where we won't have to work so hard, where everything is provided, are we sure we're not just repeating the same experiment? Are we building our very own Universe 25, a perfect trap just for us?